Returning to Liang Ruoxu's side, she gradually put her hair up in a bun. "I've already sent that list to you. You will handle it yourself," she said. After preparing herself neatly, she moved closer to give him a light kiss on the cheek. "Perhaps people won't know it was all you're doing, but I will always remember it in my heart." Lin Yi lifted her chin gently and said, "What you said is not very realistic. I know you best when it comes to what you want." Ruoxu brushed his hand away and said, "I know already. You should rest early. Tomorrow I still have to go to work. Try to resolve everything, including the drug pricing." The next day, at the hospital where Lin Yi worked, when he arrived and looked at the scene before him, 1,000 questions filled his mind. There were two unfamiliar men standing and chatting with Li Chuhan, both wearing very cheerful expressions. "Director Li, we'll be colleagues from now on. I hope we can cooperate well," one of the two said. When Li Chuhan saw them present a black gift box, she became flustered and hesitated. "This!" Suddenly, upon seeing Lin Yi, Li Chuhan rushed over. "Lin, you're here!" Then she turned to introduce, "These two are the new deputy directors of our department." Li Chuhan quickly introduced, "This is Director Wang Zeyi, the man with light brown hair tied up, and this is Director Zheng Binjiang, the man with short blue hair." Wang Zeyi, from the beginning to the end, always looked at Lin Yi with an annoyed expression and said, "I know who he is now. He is a deputy director in training, and I heard that he performed surgery on the leadership, which is why he skyrocketed to success." Hearing those words, Lin Yi immediately directed a cold gaze towards him. Chao Xin, standing in between, felt awkward as she saw Lin Yi and Wang Zeyi looking at each other with eyes that seemed ready to devour one another. To ease the tension, Chao Xin quickly spoke up. "Brother Lin, the patient in room 804 is being discharged today. Do you want to stop by and check on her?" Upon hearing this, Lin Yi nodded in agreement. "Sure, let's go over and take a look." He turned around and walked away, not bothering about Wang Zeyi behind him. A short while later, they arrived right in front of room 804. At this moment, Zhao Wen was packing her belongings into a suitcase, getting ready to leave after her days of treatment. When she saw Lin Yi appear, she turned around and asked with an annoyed tone, "Why are you here again? Are you here to mock me again?" Lin Yi replied in a mocking tone, "What are you talking about? You spent so much money on treatment, you are my female bodhisattva in my heart." Zhao Wen couldn't stay silent and swallow the anger in her heart. She immediately retaliated, "I admit, I'm not your match, but I truly can't understand what your purpose is. Are you doing charity? You don't look like a philanthropist." After that, Lin Yi took out a piece of paper, looked at it, stroked his chin, and chuckled softly. "There's no reason at all. It's just that you look too annoying. That simple." Hearing this, Zhao Wen, feeling uncomfortable, crossed her arms, her expression looking as terrible as it could be, bitterly staring at Lin Yi. Seeing this, Lin Yi pretended to be a good person and reminded her, "Take a good rest. Don't always be too agitated. Otherwise, a fast heartbeat isn't good for you." At this moment, Zhao Wen could no longer swallow her anger and shouted directly at Lin Yi, "I want to be discharged right now. I never want to see you again in my life." Lin Yi still maintained an indifferent demeanor, smiling. "All right, then get discharged." While Zhao Wen was fuming, he casually called Chao Xin. "Calculate how much she has spent so far so she can go downstairs to settle the bill." Upon hearing this, Chao Xin quickly handed the hospital bill to Zhao Wen, smiling and saying, "You paid 10,000 yuan in advance, then paid an additional 2,000 yuan downstairs, with a total of 480,000 yuan remaining." Every word from Chao Xin left Zhao Wen stunned, caught off guard. She couldn't help but exclaim, "So expensive!" Chao Xin quickly explained, "Director Lin said your identity is very noble, so the equipment and medicine you use are all imported. The costs, of course, have to be high." Zhao Wen felt as if struck by lightning, helplessly punching her chest and nearly falling. She angrily turned her head, clenched her fists, and glared at Lin Yi, saying, "He really knows how to take advantage of everything. He managed to set a trap for me, even with this." Lin Yi naturally knew how pleased he was. A moment later, Lin Yi sat at his desk, talking to Qiao Xin as she placed a stack of documents on the table. "Have the procedures been completed?" Qiao Xin tiredly replied, "Yes, someone has come to pick her up. I just worry that you will provoke her again and she'll end up in the hospital once more, which would be a pity." Suddenly, Li Chuhan walked in, presenting a document in front of Lin Yi and said, "You two take a look at this." She had a serious expression and continued, "There is surgery scheduled for tomorrow. This is the patient's condition." Lin Yi agreed upon hearing this. "Got it." Suddenly, applause could be heard from somewhere. It turned out to be Deputy Director Wang Ziyi announcing, "Everyone, I just finished a discussion with Director Zheng. Today is our first day at work, so we invite everyone to lunch, which will also facilitate our future cooperation." He smiled as he took out his mobile phone. "Everyone, please don't order food at noon. I'll order Grab food to deliver it quickly." The people in the room responded cheerfully. "Thank you, Directors Wang and Zheng." Wang Ziyi maintained a cheerful expression and said, "Okay, that's the decision then. If I remember correctly, including the outside nurse, our department has a total of 28 people, right?" Hearing this, Lin Yi next to him looked somewhat confused. When Qiao Xin heard that Deputy Director Wang intended to treat the whole department, she worriedly asked, "Director Wang, are you planning to invite everyone? That would be quite expensive." However, he seemed unbothered and replied immediately, "It's nothing. For me, this is just a small gesture of sincerity." Half an hour later, several delivery people quickly brought the food. "Excuse me, who is Dr. Wang with the phone number ending in 1877? Your ordered meals have been delivered." Wang Ziyi quickly spoke up. "That's me. Please put it on my desk." At this point, his desk was already piled high with meals for everyone, looking quite neat and complete. Wang Ziyi announced, "Today, I'm treating everyone to lunch. The food has arrived. Please feel free to come and take your portion." Wang Ziyi suddenly brought a blue box to Li Chuhan's desk, smiling and said, "Director Li, this is the caramel latte I specially picked for you. Please try it." Seeing that, she had no expression on her face, simply replying, "Thank you." Qiao Xin, while getting her own meal, suddenly felt something was off, her face puzzled. "Huh, that's strange. It's my turn, but this is the last meal. Where's Lin's meal?" Wang Ziyi, with a cunning look, pretended to scratch his head. "Oh dear, look at my memory. Director Lin, I'm truly sorry. I forgot to include your portion. Please order your own meal." Both Li Chuhan and Qiao Xin were not children and immediately detected his ulterior motive, leading them to share the same thought. This guy Wang Ziyi is definitely doing this on purpose. Qiao Xin quickly handed her lunchbox to Lin Yi and said, "Here, this meal is for you, Lin. Just right. I need to lose weight today. Fruits will be enough for me." This left Lin Yi dumbfounded, unsure of what to do. Suddenly, from outside the door came a voice. "Excuse me, is Dr. Lin here?" To everyone's surprise, it was Ji Kyun Nian. She was dressed elegantly, radiating an enchanting charm, holding a lunchbox in her hand. The employees in the room, when they saw her, were captivated, unable to take their eyes off her, forgetting all about their lunches. This sudden appearance made Lin Yi curious. Why is she here? Ji Kyun Nian approached Lin Yi with a cheerful expression. She presented a lunchbox and said, "I'm free this noon, so I brought you lunch." Lin Yi's face also lit up, responding, "That's great. I haven't eaten anything yet." He glanced over at Wang Ziyi and said, "Everyone can just enjoy your meal here. I won't be eating with you all." Although he spoke to everyone, each word seemed to be directed straight at Wang Ziyi. He could only glare angrily at the two walking into the room, filled with jealousy. Why do all the beautiful women have relationships with him? Ji Kyun Nian and Lin Yi entered the hospital's break room. The lunchbox she brought was filled with delicious and appetizing dishes. Just looking at it was mouthwatering. Lin Yi opened the lunchbox and curiously asked Ji Kyun Nian, "By the way, why did you bring lunch for me?" Ji Kyun Nian smiled flirtatiously and answered, I noticed we haven't eaten together for a while, and since I had free time, I thought I would bring it to you. Lin Yi tasted the food and happily exclaimed, "It's delicious." Hearing this, Ji Kyun-nian felt very happy, her eyes fondly gazing at Lin Yi as he enjoyed the meal. In the break room, the two chatted joyfully with each other. After finishing their meal, Lin Yi escorted Ji Kyun-nian to the elevator, saying, "I'll come to pick you up after work this afternoon." She responded to Lin Yi with a wink and a kiss blown into the air, accompanied by gentle words, "I'll wait for you." After returning to the office, Lin Yi found the room buzzing with discussion. Some people looked at him with admiration. Before Lin Yi could even sit down, Qiao Xin eagerly ran over, curious to ask, "Lin, was that beautiful girl your girlfriend?" Hearing this, Lin Yi quickly denied, No, she just has a crush on me, but I'm not interested. I mean, she's nice and all, so I can't really avoid it." Wang Ziyi, upon hearing this, felt annoyed and directed all his disdain towards Lin Yi, thinking to himself, "Lin Yi really knows how to put on a show." Then Qiao Xin continued, "We were just discussing, the dress she was wearing seems to be the latest style from Burberry. I heard it costs more than 80,000 yuan. Upon hearing this, Lin Yi explained, "She's the owner of a company. A dress costing more than 80,000 yuan is pretty normal for her." Qiao Xin's eyes lit up with admiration. "Lin, you're really impressive. The person pursuing you is so wealthy." Suddenly, Li Chuhan stepped forward, cutting off their conversation with a decisive tone. "There's a surgery scheduled for tomorrow morning. Hurry up and check the medical records." At this moment, Qiao Xin could only respond with resignation. "Yes, I understand, Director Li." Wang Ying walked away with a sorrowful expression, hastily making her way down the street. Lin Yi noticed this and called out, "Sister Wang, why are you in such a hurry? Where are you going?" Upon seeing him, she was taken aback and replied, "Lin Yi, have you been busy lately? It's been a while since I last saw you." Lin Yi explained, "I've been at the hospital working as a doctor, trying to experience the job and the healthcare environment." "Why are you in such a rush?" Wang Ying, hearing this, said, "I really admire you for that. You've managed to work at the hospital as a doctor. That's impressive." After that, she showed a displeased expression and added, "By the way, there are a few households who refuse to relocate for that project our company has in the suburbs of the city. They are adamant about not leaving, and now they are demanding 100,000 yuan from us for demolition. How shameless." Lin Yi glanced at his watch and said, "If this continues, it will indeed be difficult to resolve. Since she hasn't finished work yet, let's go over there together." Wang Ying appeared hesitant and a bit worried, cautioning, "I can take you there, but you mustn't lose your temper. This matter is very sensitive, and causing a scene would not be good for Chaoyang Corporation." Lin Yi quickly reassured, "Don't worry, I have my limits. Just take me there." The two got into the car, a white vehicle, and drove to the workplace. Lin Yi immediately called Qin Han. "Help me arrange for 10 trucks to be at 360 Road, the shanty town waiting for me. I have something I need." Qin Han wondered, "Lin, what do you need the trucks for? Isn't the project in the shanty town about to kick off?" Lin Yi smiled smugly. "It's not that I need the trucks. It's because there are a few households that are a bit difficult to deal with. I'm just going to take a look for fun." Qin Han quickly understood. "A few households won't relocate, huh? Got it. I'll arrange it." At the shanty town full of dilapidated houses, their car managed to stop at this location. Lin Yi and Wang Ying got out of the car and went inside. Suddenly, a stranger spoke up. "Hey brother, are you a friend of Boss Qin?" Seeing this, Lin Yi couldn't help but ask, "Do you know me?" The other man happily replied, "Boss Qin sent me your picture, so I recognized you right away. I'm Zhao San. He told me to wait for you here. Everything will follow your arrangements." At this moment, Lin Yi and Wang Ying were walking together to a construction site. After meeting Zhao San there, Lin Yi assigned a task. "There is a job for you right now. You must stop anyone coming out from this place, but be careful not to harm anyone." After hearing him say that, Zhao San replied, "Don't worry, Boss Lin. We were called by Brother Qin, so we know what to do." Then the two of them entered. While there were two trucks parked there, Lin Yi suddenly stopped. Upon seeing a large crowd approaching from a distance, a blond man smoking, who looked quite arrogant, pointed and shouted, "Enough talking! 100,000 yuan! If we don't get a single cent less, we're not leaving." Seeing so many people, Lin Yi and Wang Ying were both taken aback. Wang Ying anxiously asked, "What's going on? Why are so many people coming here all at once?" Hearing this, Lin Yi turned to Wang Ying and casually asked, "What's the matter? Does this not usually happen?" Wang Ying raised her hand to scratch her head as if trying to recall something. Her gaze dropped and she anxiously said to Lin Yi, "Usually, there are only a few people. I don't know why there are so many today. Let's go over there and see what's happening." Suddenly, Hong Ji Wang, a negotiation specialist from the Chao Yang group, appeared. His face was pale with fear, sweat dripping down. He said, "Minister Wang, Mr. Lin, you two are here?" Seeing this, Wang Ying immediately asked, "What's going on? Why are there so many people here?" Hong Ji Wang quickly reported the situation to them. Normally, there aren't this many people. His complexion was now ashen, devoid of any color. He tugged at his collar and replied to Wang Ying, "It's because they heard that someone wants to pay 100,000 yuan per square meter. This news reached them, so they came here to demand money." Upon hearing this, Lin Yi guessed their intent. "I suspect these people want to drive up the price, so they came here. I'll go over and take a look." At this moment, Lin Yi stepped forward and said, "What's all the noise about? Let's talk this out calmly. Don't they want money? Send a representative here." The man in the yellow outfit, who was leading, arrogantly stepped forward, smoking a cigarette and puffing away. With a grim expression, he said, "We have no demands. Just hand over enough money, and we will leave immediately. Not a single household will stay." Lin Yi frowned and replied to him, "I don't want to say much to you either. That matter is probably not possible." This statement caused the man, who was holding a cigarette, to become instantly furious, his face darkening. He took the cigarette down and, with an irritated demeanor, replied, "Not possible? That's not very important. Then we'll just waste time here. After all, I have plenty of time." Upon hearing these words, Lin Yi, unsure of what calculations he was making, reached up to touch his chin and smiled slyly. Then Lin Yi stood between two trucks, raised his arms to the sides, pointing at them, and said to the blond man, "Do you see those trucks on the side of the road? Even if you want to go outside, you won't be able to." The blond man was furious, cursing, "Damn it! Are you threatening me?" Lin Yi remained extremely calm, showing no emotion. He said, "If it is a threat or not, you can try and find out." Then he called out a bald man standing behind him to make a mistake. "Bald man, go try and find an opportunity to bump into that. The more serious, the better. I will compensate you 5 times. Upon hearing such a large sum of money, the bald man didn't care about his life and charged forward with a fierce demeanor. The bald man was walking through another place, but unexpectedly, Lin Yi noticed him. Suddenly, a truck came rushing in, blocking the bald man's way. Fortunately, he managed to react and brake just in time. His face darkened and he gritted his teeth in anger, then without hesitation, he charged headfirst into the truck. Blood splattered everywhere, spraying all over the road. Several people in the crowd were extremely surprised, while the blond guy quickly took out his phone to record it. A sinister smile spread across his face. 2 men helped the bald man to his feet, and at that moment, a large patch of blood was visible on his forehead. The other man shouted, "Quick! Take him to the hospital!" Meanwhile, the blond guy still held his phone, frowning and saying loudly, "You are really cruel. Let's go. This is not over yet." Upon hearing the leader's words, a group of people turned and left. Only the blond guy shouted, "We're leaving now!" He turned to look at Lin Yi and flashed a calculating smile. Lin Yi was also very cautious. After witnessing the entire incident unfold, he instructed Hong Ji Wang, "This is not as simple as I thought. I don't know what their intentions are. Continue the project as usual, but do not mention this to Ji. Do you understand, Hongji Wang? Hongji Wang quickly replied, Understood, Mr. Lin. After finishing the matter at the construction site, Lin Yi took Wang Ying to the parking lot. He turned around, raised his hand to say goodbye to her, and said, You're going to pick up Miss Ji. You don't need to worry about me. Wang Ying was caught off guard, and she just mumbled a response. At that moment, the door to Ji Qunnian's room opened. Lin Yi saw her looking dazed, staring blankly in his direction. Ji Qunnian was in a dress that suited her perfectly. It was dazzling, sparkling, and fit her sharp figure. She asked Lin Yi, Does this dress look good? I spent a lot of time picking it out. Lin Yi put his hand on his chin, pretending to think deeply, and said, The dress isn't beautiful. His answer surprised Ji Qunnian a bit. She mumbled a response, then blushed. Lin Yi's flirting skills were quite rich. He gently lifted her chin towards him, then smiled affectionately and said, I only like you when you're not wearing clothes. Hearing this, Ji Qunnian felt shy and, embarrassed, playfully scolded him, You bastard! Then the two of them leaned in together and shared a kiss. Lin Yi's hands were not idle either, starting to roam around mischievously. After that, they both lost themselves in the room. At that moment, he had pinned Ji Qunnian down on her desk. The next day, the two tall buildings were connected by an aerial bridge. On top of the building on the right, there was a sign reading, Chiu Yang Group. The sky was blue with a few white clouds, creating a bright and refreshing atmosphere. Inside the building, at that moment, Ji Qunnian was entering when her secretary quickly ran out to report. Ms. Ji, the project on the outskirts of the city has been handled and can be started at any time. After hearing the report, Ji Qunnian calculated for a moment and said, Notify the vice president to come to the project room. At this time, an unknown number was calling Ji Qunnian's phone. The screen displayed an image of Lin Yi attacking someone, blood splattering everywhere. Seeing this, Ji Qunnian was alarmed and thought, Lin Yi? She answered the call. After placing the phone to her ear, the voice on the other end introduced himself. Ms. Ji, I am Wang Yang. He continued to narrate the situation. Yesterday, in the slum area, your man Lin Yi beat one of my subordinates to the point of injuring his face. Ms. Ji, you should prepare to bring Lin Yi some food in prison. After all, committing murder is not a light crime. Hearing these words, her expression darkened. While the secretary stepped forward to do something, Ji Qunnian raised her hand to block him and said directly to the person on the other end, Aren't you the one who wants this project? I can give it to you, right? Find somewhere to sign the transfer contract. Wang Yang immediately replied after hearing this. Ms. Ji is very straightforward. Indeed, you are a person who handles big matters. I'm preparing a banquet at the Hui building this afternoon. Let's meet and discuss. Ji Qunnian's expression was very stern at this moment. She calmly said, All right. Suddenly, a boy's footsteps stopped, and he said loudly, Sister Wang is in trouble. A boy reported to Wang Ying the current situation. Ms. Ji has found out about what happened yesterday. Lin Yi is still handling the slum issue. Just now, she asked me a ton of questions. After that, holding the contract, he walked outside. Upon hearing this, Wang Ying jumped up in panic and asked, What? Her face was filled with fear as she hurriedly grabbed her phone to search for Lin Yi's name in her contacts. After he answered the call, Wang Ying quickly got to the main point. Xiao Yi, Ms. Ji already knows about yesterday. We can't hide it anymore. Her face was covered in sweat as she spoke loudly. After learning this, Ms. Ji drove off immediately. Lin Yi's expression was filled with panic and fear. He opened his eyes wide in shock after hearing these words from Wang Ying. He quickly stood up, took off his lab coat, and hurriedly ran out of the hospital, throwing the lab coat to the nurse at the counter and saying, Please hold this for me. The nurse reached out with both hands to receive it and replied, Yes, Dr. Lin. Just as the elevator door was closing, it quickly reopened. Inside the elevator was a girl with black hair along with a man. The girl with black hair questioned, "Why are you in such a hurry, boss? Is something wrong?" Lin Yi quickly pushed the two of them out of the elevator and said, "Sorry." Both of them were flustered and uncertain about what was happening. After that, the elevator door closed again. Duan Yong and the girl with black hair stood staring at the elevator. At that moment, the girl frowned and said, "Something's not right. It seems like something has happened. I know Lin Yi well. He is the type of person who wouldn't change his expression even if a mountain collapsed right in front of him. The fact that he is so anxious means there must be something going on." In a quaint, old-fashioned restaurant, Zheng Yangchao spoke up. "Mr. Fan, I heard that the deal for the hacker's batch of drugs you were negotiating has failed?" Mr. Fan, upon hearing this, sighed in disappointment and replied, "If it weren't for Lin Yi, that negotiation would have succeeded long ago. It has caused our family to suffer several billion in losses for nothing." Another man, holding a string of prayer beads and swirling them, said, "Wait for a bit. That kiddo's woman will arrive. I will make sure to reclaim the losses for you." All three people were incredibly sinister, sitting at the same dining table waiting for Ji Kyun Nian. Then Mr. Fan spoke up, saying, "Let's continue the discussion. So this matter troubles Mr. Zhao and Uncle Wang. This helps me regain my face. Besides, we might as well find a way to gain some benefits from Ji Kyun Nian as well." At that moment, the door of the banquet was pushed open. Ji Kyun Nian confidently entered, holding a stack of documents in her hand, with a calm expression on her face. As soon as she stepped into the restaurant, Wang Yang smiled and said, "Miss Ji, I've admired you for a long time." He raised his hand in a gesture to invite her to sit and continued, "The dishes have already been prepared." As soon as Ji Kyun Nian walked in, she immediately placed the stack of documents on the table. Zheng Yangzhao and Wang Yang couldn't help but be astonished. She then spoke up, "There's no need to eat. I've already signed everything. You just need to sign it too, and it will be done." Not even giving them the chance to sit down for a meal. Wang Yang placed his hand on the table, making a noise. He smiled cunningly and said, "Your attitude is something we cannot accept. Even if the person is dead, Lin Yi is in prison. At most, I will just stop doing business." Ji Kyun Nian was not afraid of them at all. She slammed her hand down on the table with force. She pressed both hands on the table and said, "You all don't need to be arrogant in front of me. I also don't believe that investing a few billion yuan cannot solve this problem." Ji Kyun Nian's face was extremely terrifying at this moment. Her gaze seemed capable of killing her prey on the spot. The three of them were frightened to the point of jumping, thinking to themselves, "This woman is hard to deal with." Wang Yang continued to smile cheerfully and said, "Come on, Miss Ji, calm down. It's not good to be angry already when we haven't even started discussing yet." Ji Kyun Nian had no intention of discussing anything with them. She stood opposite, propped up her hands, and said, "The transfer contract is already here. What else do you want to talk about?" Wang Yang, sitting on the other side, spoke up. "Ms. Ji, after all, with such a large project, I can't handle it alone. I need to find a collaborative partner." Wang Yang pretended to offer goodwill again. "I wonder if Ms. Ji wants to collaborate?" Ji Kyun Nian completely did not want to waste her time. She turned to leave, looking back to say, "If you can't handle large projects like this, then don't take them on. Chaoyang Group does not want to cooperate with you." Upon hearing this, Wang Yang became furious, his face darkening. He clenched his hand into a fist and threatened Ms. Ji. "If you say it like that, then you're exposing your cards. Someone, hurry and stop her." Upon hearing the command from the man named Wang, a group quickly rushed in. 4 men stood at the door to prevent Ji Kyun Nian from leaving. She shouted, "What do you want to do?" Meanwhile, Wang Yang leisurely poured himself a drink. He stood up, walked over to her, holding a glass of wine. His expression was incredibly frightening, causing Ji Kyun Nian to panic in fear. He spoke, "The enmity between us and Lin Yi goes beyond just this project. As long as you drink with the 3 of us, 1 glass each, then everything between us and Lin Yi can be considered settled." At that moment, Ji Kyun-nian completely lost the initiative. Zheng Yang-jiao and Mr. Fan Ji Fan also stood up to restrain her. She anxiously shouted, "Don't you dare! What do you want? Let me go!" Ji Kyun-nian was held back by Wang Yang's minions. He grinned wickedly and said, "I will hold the contract. As for this glass of wine, today, whether you want to or not, you have to drink it." Zheng Yang-jiao smugly took out his phone, recording a video while saying, "I want to record this and send it to Lin Yi. His woman is drinking with me. I have to drive him crazy." The other man continued to urge Ji, "The wine is right at your mouth. You should show some respect and take a sip." Ji Kyun-nian frowned. She angrily shouted, "You guys, don't harbor delusions. Let me go now." Wang Yang immediately covered her mouth, trying to force her to drink a glass of liquor. He replied, "Refusing the wine offered, you will have to drink the penalty wine." Ji Kyun-nian could only glare, struggling in helplessness. Suddenly, from outside, Lin Yi kicked the door open. Everyone in the room was startled. Lin Yi adjusted his collar with his hand, his face darkened with a fierce aura. He said, "You three, you better not think anyone can leave this place today." Zheng Yang-jiao pointed at Lin Yi's face, furiously shouting, "You're still so arrogant! Don't you see whose territory this is?" Immediately, he was met with a powerful kick to the face from Lin Yi. Zheng Yang-jiao was sent tumbling in the air, causing the people around to panic. Wang Yang pointed at Lin Yi, ordering, "Brothers, attack him!" His gang members rushed up like a storm upon hearing the command. Lin Yi slowly stepped forward and delivered a strong punch to Wang Yang's stomach, causing him to spit out the liquor he had just consumed. Wang Yang, in pain and with a pale face, clutched his abdomen, trembling and stammering, "You dare to hit me!" Lin Yi then kicked Wang Yang's leg. Predictably, Wang Yang spun around and fell to the ground. As he writhed in pain on the ground, Lin Yi stepped on his wrist. Lin Yi looked down at Wang Yang with fiery eyes and began to interrogate. "Did you use that hand to grope her just now?" Wang Yang was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat. He replied, "I know I was wrong. I'm willing to hand over all the territory in my hands to you. Please, I beg you." The suppressed anger inside Lin Yi erupted. His face turned crimson. Suddenly, a scream rang out from the restaurant, breaking the silence. Outside, Wang Yang lay motionless on the ground. Lin Yi stood up and shouted, "I didn't want to pay attention to you. Why do you always come to bother me? Do you really think you have the ability to do that?" At this moment, Zheng Yang-jiao's face was covered in injuries. He was utterly scared and hurriedly waved his hand, saying, "Let's sit down and talk slowly. If you dare to lay a hand on me, you won't gain anything from it." Lin Yi immediately rushed over, grabbed Zheng Yang-jiao by the neck, and slammed him to the ground, asking, "Did you use that head to plot against her just now?" He applied strong pressure on Zheng Yang-jiao's wrist and lifted his finger threateningly. "Do you dare to touch her again? Then this hand is no longer worth keeping." Suddenly, a voice shouted loudly outside the door, "Stop it!" The three rushed in, their expressions filled with panic, as they looked at Lin Yi, who was bewildered. Liu Roshu, Mo Hongshan, and Qin Han all showed signs of alarm upon witnessing the scene before them. Qin Han immediately intervened. "Lin, don't act rashly." But Lin Yi refused to listen. He responded heatedly, "Today I must cripple his arm. What anyone says is useless." Zheng Yang-jiao was pinned down to the ground, with no strength left to resist. From the corner of his eye, drops of red blood began to trickle out. After a brief hesitation, Lin Yi decisively stomped down hard on his arm, breaking the bones inside it in two. Zheng Yang-jiao screamed in pain, his cries echoing outward, causing the birds to scatter in fright. Everyone in the room was shocked by Lin Yi's actions. Mo Hongshan thought to himself, "He really is just like his father." Liang Roshu stood silently in a corner, not daring to say a word. He turned to look at Fan Donghui's son sitting across the room and then asked, "What about you?" The cowardly son was so scared that he sat on the ground, replying, "This has nothing to do with me. You can't do anything to me." Liang Roshu approached Lin Yi and advised, "You should go home now. Let me handle this. Suddenly, GQ Nian ran over, tears welling up as she said, Lin Yi, take me home. Liang Ruoxu stood behind, surprised as she watched the two of them. Lin Yi replied, all right. Then, the two of them linked arms and walked out of the room. As soon as they stepped outside the restaurant, Ji Qunnian anxiously turned to Lin Yi and asked, are you hurt? Lin Yi, looking somewhat angry, responded, do you have a problem with your head? How could you dare to meet them alone? Ji Qunnian covered her mouth with her hand, sobbing, that guy named Wang Yang said you ordered someone to run over his subordinate. I was scared you would go to jail, so I took the contract to meet him. Lin Yi replied angrily, do you believe whatever they say? Do you even know how dangerous it was today? Even if nothing happened, you should have called me first. Faced with his anger, Ji Qunnian stammered, I know I was wrong. Please don't scold me anymore. Lin Yi immediately softened his tone, hugged her, and reminded her, forget it. Next time, remember to call me first. I'll take you back to the company. Ji Qunnian leaned against his chest and whispered, I know you do this because you care about me, but please don't do such dangerous things in the future, okay? A moment later, they arrived at the company. As soon as they got there, Lin Yi picked up the phone to call Liang Ruoxu. He asked, how is the handling going? Liang Ruoxu replied, Qin Han has instructed the legal department of Zhonghan Capital to send a lawyer's letter to the Zhao family and the Fan family, treating it as a preemptive strike. As for Wang Yang, just let me handle it. Nation TH will no longer have this person in the future. From the other end of the line, Liang Ruoxu continued. Fortunately, his arm doesn't have any major issues. He's agreed to settle with you. In the future, if there are any difficult matters to resolve, you must call me immediately. Don't act impulsively like that anymore. Lin Yi responded, okay, I understand. Just after hanging up the phone, someone suddenly called. Lin Yi and Ji Qunnian cheerfully walked over. Ji Qunnian said, if you have time tomorrow, come to the dock and take a look. The first phase of the dock renovation project has basically been completed. Lin Yi smiled lightly and agreed, all right. The next morning, on a beautiful day with gentle sunlight warming the ground, in the hospital, Qiao Xin eagerly ran over to announce, Brother Lin, I have good news to tell you. With a bright smile, she recounted, a few days later, there is a patient who wants to have a heart stent placed. Director Li said not to do it and let you handle it instead. I'll be your assistant for this heart stent procedure. Lin Yi seriously reminded her, placing a heart stent isn't just something that can be done in a few hours. Wang Ziyi glanced around, looking somewhat displeased. He forced a smile and proposed to the female doctors, that's right, since our department is short-staffed, Director Li has arranged it. Nearly all the surgeries for tomorrow are booked. Therefore, I have a suggestion. Why don't we form a group and go out for a stroll? I've heard that Wangjiang Terminal has been expanded significantly compared to the original. Upon hearing this, everyone smiled eagerly. Li Chuhan held the file in her hand, but still listened intently to the conversation among everyone. Seeing the eager expressions of the female doctors, she couldn't help but say, there's no need for a group, but I can let everyone take half a day's break. If you want to go out and play, you can. Qiao Xin approached, looking at the excitement of the nurses, and asked Director Li, can we really go? Li Chuhan raised her hand to gently stroke her hair and replied, you all can relax a bit. I will take care of the patient rooms. Hearing this, Wang Ziyi was taken aback and quickly persuaded Director Li, if you don't go, then what meaning is there for us to go? I am inviting everyone to play, so I will take full responsibility for all expenses. Qiao Xin whispered to Lin Yi, he only wants to invite Director Li. Zheng Binjiang stepped up, warmly saying, Director Li, how about this? You all go ahead and have fun. I will cover all the expenses. I'm older now, and it's not really appropriate for me to join you young folks. It's better for me to stay behind. Wang Ziyi happily stepped forward, took Zheng Binjiang's hand, and replied, thank you, Director Zheng. Li Chuhan glanced over at Lin Yi as if wanting to say something. He looked at her but didn't understand what she meant. Li Chuhan agreed. All right, Then let's go for a walk together. Wang Ziyi gritted his teeth. He clenched his fists, filled with determination, telling himself, I must let everyone know that in this practical and realistic world, no matter how beautiful it is still useless. With money, you can have everything. That afternoon, they arrived at the pier. Here, the water was a stunning blue, the square was spacious, and many large ships were docked. Everyone was amazed by the scenery. Xiaoxin exclaimed, Oh my God, Wangjiang Terminal is so beautiful. Wang Ziyi recounted, Not long ago, Wangjiang Terminal was bought out. A mysterious tycoon invested 800 million yuan to renovate it. I've heard that there will be more luxurious projects in phases 2 and 3. Hearing this information, the girls all looked surprised. Xiaoxin clasped her hands in admiration and asked, Director Wang, do you really know even such internal information? He chuckled smugly and replied, A friend of mine is a member of the yacht club here, so there are many things I also know. Now, let's go grill some food, and then I will prepare the boat for us to go out to sea. The girls cheered excitedly. We can go out to sea? Wang Ziyi happily answered, Of course. Now that we've arrived at Wangjiang Terminal, we have to have some fun out at sea. Since you all came with me here, I must make sure you enjoy yourselves. He glanced at Lin Yi with a smug thought. You think you can compete with me? He turned around and was startled to see Lin Yi alongside Li Chuhan and Xiaoxin. Xiaoxin turned her head and asked Lin Yi, Do you know anywhere recently selling swimsuits? We need to choose a really nice one for Director Li. Li Chuhan felt puzzled by Xiaoxin's attitude. She wondered, Isn't it just a swimsuit? Lin Yi is a guy and isn't even that excited. Why are you like this? As soon as they arrived at the store, Xiaoxin immediately set her sights on a suit hanging on the rack. She picked up a sexy white bikini and said, Director Li, I think this white one would suit you very well. Li Chuhan's face turned red. She quickly waved her hand to refuse. No way, it's too revealing. Let's pick something else. She pointed to the nearby pink bikini and then asked, How about that one? The tie-up style will accentuate your figure. Li Chuhan glanced at Lin Yi, hesitating to think. She turned shyly and replied, Then let's get this one. Also, get a thin jacket. Xiaoxin happily said, Okay. She picked up 2 bags of items and cheerfully ran out to tell Lin Yi, Hey Lin, it's time for you to shine. You'll cover the transportation fees, right? Including my stuff too. Li Chuhan stood aside, bewildered, trying to intervene. No need. Immediately, Lin Yi agreed and replied, All right, you're right, I'll pay. He turned to the shopkeeper and requested, Get me another sleeveless shirt and a pair of shorts. Li Chuhan shyly stepped out to the dock, wearing the swimsuit she had just bought, draped in a delicate sheer cover-up. This beauty captivated Wang Ziyi. He thought to himself, This figure, those long legs, just perfect. Seeing the lecherous look on his face, Li Chuhan felt scared and pulled the cover-up tighter around her body, causing him to lose interest. The girl snapped, You all stop looking at me. Go eat your food. Meanwhile, a girl with long brown hair exclaimed, Director Lin, why are you wearing a tank top? Why don't you show off your beautiful figure? Wang Ziyi smugly replied, These girls must give Director Lin some face. It's because Director Lin's figure isn't beautiful that he doesn't show it off. But the girls' eyes lit up as they looked towards Lin Yi. The girl in the pink bikini said, No way, Director Lin isn't chubby. He surely doesn't have a big belly, right? Let's go over and pull off his tank top to find out. 2 other girls then ran towards Lin Yi, excitedly cheering, So thrilling! Let's go, duck! Lin Yi stood there in a daze, still trying to grasp what they were about to do. One girl's hand gradually pulled up the part of his shirt above his tummy to reveal a toned body, while another hand pulled up the part of his shirt on his arm, revealing Lin Yi's scorching six-pack and rippling muscles. He ran his hand through his hair and then asked softly, What are you all doing? Looking at that body made the surrounding girls admire him in awe. Xiaoxin kept complimenting Lin. Your figure is so beautiful. The girl in the pink bikini agreed. That's right, that's right. With a figure like that, why wear a shirt? Lin Yi smugly glanced at Wang Ziyi and replied, I'm not the kind of person who likes to show off. What's the point of revealing it? The beach scenery was absolutely stunning, with the crystal blue water and the gentle waves lapping at the shore. The soft sunlight illuminated everywhere, creating ideal conditions for the girls enjoying their holiday. Some were sunbathing, while others were playing volleyball. Lin Yi set his plate of food down on the wooden table. Qiao Xin, holding a volleyball, curiously asked him, Where are you going? Lin Yi waved his hand and replied, Just taking a stroll. You all keep eating. He walked towards the operations center of the pier. As soon as he saw him, Bi Songjiang asked, Lin, you're here? Are you bringing friends to have fun? Do you need a boat prepared? Upon entering, Lin Yi declined. No need, someone else is taking care of it. Then he sat down comfortably on the sofa. Lin Yi asked, I came to check on the situation at the pier. What's the progress now? Bi Songjiang took out a thick stack of documents and smilingly replied, The first phase of the expansion project has basically been completed. Our Wangjiang terminal has become the largest tourist pier in the country. The next phase of the project is to follow the direction of the world's leading wharves. Focusing intently on the document in hand, he continued to ask, Has the Yalo design team proposed a specific plan yet? Bi Songjiang immediately replied, For now, there is only a rough overall schematic. We are waiting for the completed design before meeting with Mr. Lin to hear his opinions. He nodded in agreement. All right. Lin Yi rested his hand on his chin and asked Bi Songjiang for his thoughts. Mr. B, what do you think about building an artificial island out in the sea? Bi Songjiang was startled and responded, Mr. Lin, are you sure you're not joking? Lin Yi chuckled and said, Do you think I am joking? He waved goodbye to Bi Songjiang and left, not forgetting to remind, Contact me as soon as you have the design. Bi Songjiang stood still as if spellbound, still reeling from the shock of what had just happened. Lin Yi returned to the beach where everyone was having fun and saw Qiao Xin holding a gourd. She was eating and waving at Lin. Where have you been all this time? Director Wang has finished streaming. Wait for a bit, then we'll go to the sea with his friends. Lin Yi cheerfully replied, Looks like I came back just in time. Wang Ziyi walked over, resting his hand on his chin and pretending to ponder, then said, Director Lin, if everyone goes out to play, it's easy to lose stuff. Even if we go, we need someone to stay back and keep an eye on the belongings. Lin Yi scratched his head innocently and replied, Then we should thank Director Wang. Not only did he spend money to invite us out to play, but now he's also voluntarily staying behind to keep an eye on our things. Truly a good person. Wang Ziyi stammered, asking, What do you mean? Clenching his fists, Wang Ziyi angrily said loudly, Director Lin, you might have misunderstood. I never said I wanted to stay. Suddenly, someone approached, causing them to turn in surprise. It was Gao Chong, a friend of theirs, who had also come here to have fun. As soon as Wang Ziyi saw him, he quickly put on a fake tone of concern, asking, Hey Qiao, I was just about to go meet you. You even brought someone along by yourself. Gao Chong ignored his words and suddenly glanced over to see Li Chuhan, happily exclaiming, Sister-in-law is here too? This statement made her widen her eyes in confusion, thinking that Gao Chong was referring to her. Wang Ziyi, on the other hand, was extremely pleased with himself and smiled, replying, Director Li and I haven't had anything going on yet. Why are you calling her sister-in-law? It's making me feel so embarrassed. This remark infuriated Li Chuhan, while Gao Chong was left speechless. He erupted in rage, his face filled with tension, scolding, You really know how to gold-plate yourself? Are you out of your mind? This whole Wangjiang terminal area belongs to Lin. Wang Ziyi was stunned, unexpectedly asking, What did you say? Wangjiang is his terminal? Gao Chong frowned and replied fiercely, Are you thinking I'm joking with you? Qiao Xin looked at Lin Yi's figure with admiration and exclaimed, Could it be that Lin has another identity? Is he that rich? Lin Yi responded to Gao Chong, Don't you want to go out to the sea for some fun? Then take my colleague along. It's suffocating to be in the hospital every day. Let's relax a bit today. He cheerfully proposed, Brother Lin, your sister-in-law and your friends are all here, right? Why not call for a big boat? It would be more fun if everyone gathered on it. Lin Yi sighed, then immediately agreed. The kiddo is really clever. All right, just a moment while I make the call. Bi Songjiang prepared the large boat. After a while, a splendid big boat arrived. Everyone looked at the boat with excitement. The boat gradually moved closer to the beach to pick everyone up. Before boarding the boat, Qiao Xin did not forget to turn back and ask Director Wang, "Aren't you coming with us?" He replied dejectedly, "I'll stay here to watch over the belongings." As soon as they stepped onto the boat, the girls were greeted with the sight of soft sofas, and on the table were a variety of beautifully arranged candies, fruits, and red wine. The girls couldn't help but marvel. Li Chuhan stood by the ship's railing, her hair gently blowing in the wind. There was a voice calling from behind, "Director Li." He walked over and asked her, "Do you want to go for a swim in the sea? The boat has diving equipment." She paused and replied, "I only know how to swim. I don't know how to dive." Lin Yi placed a hand on his chest, encouraging her. "That's okay. I'll guide you." After a while, Li Chuhan had put on the protective mask. Lin Yi asked, "Are you ready?" She turned back and answered, "I'm ready." Then Lin Yi wrapped his arms around her waist, and the two of them jumped into the sea together. Since she had never done this before, Li Chuhan screamed in fear, tightly closing her eyes and flailing in the water. Lin Yi held her hand, trying to reassure her. "Don't be afraid. Just relax a bit. Hold my hand." Li Chuhan gradually regained her composure. Now she could dive underwater. The seabed was adorned with stunning red coral reefs. Not only that, but there were also small, beautiful fish swimming among the currents. The little fish frightened Li Chuhan. She clung tightly to Lin Yi's hand, then wrapped her arms around his body and hid behind his back. Due to her overwhelming excitement, her bra strap came undone, making the atmosphere suddenly awkward. Lin Yi gently adjusted the strap of his swimsuit. The two hugged each other against the romantic backdrop of the ocean. Li Chuhan leaned on Lin Yi's shoulder to feel the warmth of love. A moment later, both Lin Yi and Li Chuhan surfaced from the water. Qiao Xin, engrossed in eating a cookie she held in her hand, asked, "Director Li, why is your face so red?" Li Chuhan felt embarrassed. Her face flushed, and she didn't dare to say anything. She could only respond, "It's my first time diving, so I'm a bit nervous, which is why my face is a little red." She turned down and winked at Lin Yi, then grabbed a white towel to dry her head before leaving. Lin Yi stayed behind to remind Gao Chong, "She has patients to attend to tonight, so please take the boat back to shore." Gao Chong replied, "All right, see you in a bit." After the boat returned to shore, Wang Ziyi immediately asked, "Director Li, has everyone come back?" Qiao Xin excitedly boasted to Director Wang, "You don't know how luxurious Lin's boat is. Lin and Director Li even went diving together. They wrapped their arms around each other and dove down there. I'm so envious I could die." Qiao Xin's words hit Wang Ziyi like a bolt from the blue, leaving him stunned. Lin Yi hurriedly stopped Qiao Xin. "Are you trying to provoke Wang Ziyi?" Li Chuhan said, "Dr. Lin, you and I will go back for the night shift. The others can take a break, and tomorrow they can come to work on time." Hearing that, Lin Yi immediately agreed. "Sure." Wang Ziyi sat curled up in a corner, looking glum like a loner. The sky was starting to darken, and at this moment, Lin Yi and Li Chuhan headed back to the hospital. In the romantic atmosphere, they walked side by side like young lovers. Petals gently fell. As they were walking, a figure appeared, a man approaching, continuously calling out, "Big girl! Big girl!" Li Chuhan wondered, "Uncle Wei, why are everyone here?" The man was named Wei Ju. He replied cheerfully, "Isn't it to see a doctor? So I came to meet you. I didn't expect to run into you outside like this." The middle-aged woman beside him was named Lu Ronghua. and the red-haired man next to her was Wei Da-chiang. Lu Ronghua sweetly asked, "Big girl, we've heard that you're working really well at the hospital. You must know everyone who works there, right?" Li Chuhan seemed a little awkward and replied, "I know everyone in the hospital and what sickness they have. Let me recommend a good doctor for everyone." Lu Ronghua happily responded, "No need to find anyone. You are good enough. Uncle Wei has been having some heart discomfort these past few days. Aunt heard from her parents that you specialize in cardiology. By the way, are you a director now or still a deputy director?" Li Chuhan's face was gloomy as she replied, "Directors." Hearing her words, Wei Erju quickly stepped forward to urge, "When we came here, we were worried that you were still a deputy director. Now it's so good you hurry and examine Uncle." Seeing how they treated Li Chuhan insincerely, Lin Yi stood aside furious, wondering what this implied. Li Chuhan forced a smile, trying to refuse their suggestion. "Today my office doesn't have any appointments. Let me transfer a few uncles and aunts to the deputy director's office with my department, okay? I'll call him first. You guys can just meet him." The two of them looked displeased. Wei Erju shouted angrily, "What's this? Now that you're working in the city, you won't acknowledge your poor rural relatives anymore. It's just a visit for a medical checkup, yet you keep refusing." Lu Ronghua started to boast, "Do you remember? When you were little, your family was so poor that you didn't even have rice to eat. If my family hadn't given your family potatoes and cabbage, who knows if you would have survived until now?" Li Chuhan was at a loss for words, muttering, I... Then she helplessly dared not argue back with them. Li Chuhan couldn't help but smile awkwardly, then turned to Lin Yi and said, "I can't get through the inpatient unit with you. Let me guide them through the outpatient clinic then." Lin Yi chuckled softly and replied gently, "Let me go with you. After all, it's not time for my shift yet." Upon entering the hospital, Li Chuhan did not forget to remind everyone, "Go to the outpatient clinic counter to collect the registration form for Director Zheng Bin Jiang. After that, head to room 306 to meet with me." The female staff member called the next person. Wei Erju immediately said, "Director Zheng of the cardiac surgery department, the one from the hospital." The staff member announced, "Hello, 84 yuan." Wei Erju exclaimed in shock, "Huh, 84 yuan? Why is the registration fee so expensive? I only prepared 800 yuan for treatment and I'm already spending 84 yuan. Big girl, did you make a mistake? It's not worth paying so much for a doctor." Wei Da-chiang, feeling angry, pushed through the crowd and said to his father, "Dad, stop talking. Out of the 84 yuan, at least 60 yuan is her commission. Otherwise, where would she make her money?" Wei Erju exclaimed in disbelief, "What? You already went to register? We still have important things to do." Li Chuhan wore a white work coat. She said sadly to Lin Yi, "I'm sorry for making you laugh at me." Lin Yi stayed there, waiting, calmly replied, "It's just a few weird family members, it's fine." He advised her, "People like them are usually the kind who, the more you give in, the louder they shout, and they won't let go." Li Chuhan sighed with fatigue and responded, "Let's deal with it first, then we'll think about the next steps." A few relatives had come to room 306. Li Chuhan sat at her desk and seriously asked, "First of all, could you tell me about your condition? Where do you feel uncomfortable? Are there any unusual symptoms?" Wei Erju replied, "I feel discomfort right at my heart. Sometimes there's also a throbbing pain in my wrist and arm. It's really uncomfortable." After thinking for a while, Li Chuhan concluded, "These symptoms are somewhat similar to acute angina. First, please go to the 4th floor for an ECG and a cardiac ultrasound. I will check the specific situation and then arrange for the next treatment plan." Just as they went up to the ECG room, the relatives barged in, opening the door roughly and shouted, "What's going on here?" He frowned and angrily asked, "We are going to do an electrocardiogram, so why does the doctor still require me to provide an invoice? Besides, I haven't paid, so they can't do it for me." Faced with what seemed like obvious questions from him, Li Chuhan and Lin Yi could only stand there, helpless, unsure how to explain. Lin Yi angrily looked at Wei Ju. If you don't pay, of course they can't do it for you. The hospital's equipment isn't free. Wei Ju glared back at Lin Yi in anger. But doing the electrocardiogram and the heart ultrasound already costs 500 yuan. Why is it so expensive? Wei Ju cheerfully looked at Lin Yi and Li Chuhan. How about you prescribe some medicine from the hospital for me? I can just take it at home. Lin Yi and Li Chuhan were taken aback, staring in confusion at Wei Ju. You want us to prescribe you some medicine? Lu Ronghua laughed happily at Lin Yi and Li Chuhan. The hospital also has its own pharmacy, right? You're a doctor here. Taking medicine is also free for you. Just take a little for me. It wouldn't be seen as making things difficult for you, would it? Wei Ju and Wei Daqiang behind him laughed slyly. Li Chuhan looked at these people with concern. She thought, these people don't even have a hint of shame. Lin Yi shoved his hands into his pockets and said seriously, That's fine. All the medicine in our hospital is available for you to take without hesitation. He looked at the group seriously and shouted, Do you need me to go get some sleeping pills for you to take right here and now? Wei Daqiang rolled up his sleeves, looking confidently at Lin Yi. What do you mean by that? Wei Ju and Lu Ronghua, scared, hugged each other tightly. Lin Yi stood in front of them, and Li Chuhan seriously shouted, Wei Ju, you all, if you still want to get examined, then first go get an ultrasound and all that. If you don't want to get examined anymore, the door is at the back. Hurry up and go home. Don't delay our dinner. Wei Ju clutched her right chest, trembling as she looked at Li Chuhan. If money is necessary, then who would want to meet you people? Fine. Today I see through you, you heartless person. From now on, we have no relationship whatsoever. Lu Ronghua helped Wei Ju out. Wei Daqiang angrily turned back to Lin Yi. You remember this. I won't let you off that easily. Lin Yi calmly and cheerfully looked at the crowd, reminding them, Remember what you need to. Li Chuhan sighed, feeling a bit tired. Finally, we managed to chase them away. Lin Yi placed a hand on Li Chuhan's shoulder, confidently saying, With me here, what is there to worry about? Li Chuhan was startled, turning to look at Lin Yi and blushing, saying, Thank you. The next day, Wang Ziyi was walking with a pile of belongings. The girl with pink hair found Wang Ziyi's expression strange and asked, Director Wang, what are you doing? Have you been fired from the hospital? Wang Ziyi was taken aback, quickly looking at the girl with pink hair, and replied, Actually, I resigned, preparing to study abroad in country M. A knocking sound was heard, and 2 policemen entered and looked at Wang Ziyi. You are Wang Ziyi, right? Your father is Wang Yanxing, isn't he? Wang Ziyi saw the 2 policemen and was startled. Yes, that's right. One policeman presented a paper in front of Wang Ziyi and said, Your father, Wang Yanxing, is involved in a serious corruption and bribery case. We need to take you in for questioning. Please come with us. Wang Ziyi was surprised and astonished, being escorted away by the 2 policemen, confusedly looking at the girl with pink hair. This? The girl with pink hair looked puzzled at Wang Ziyi. Lin Yi stood with his arms crossed, deep in thought. The Who's side has already begun to take action. The girl with pink hair anxiously shouted, looking at Lin Yi. Director Lin, it's only been a short time, and our cardiothoracic surgery department has already lost 1 head and 3 deputy directors. This cardiothoracic surgery department is cursed. Lin Yi was stunned, unsure of what to say. Li Chuhan angrily extended her hand. All right, disperse quickly. No one is allowed to talk about this anymore. In front of Li Chuhan, everyone dispersed in fear. Li Chuhan turned around and walked past Lin Yi, who was looking at his watch, and said quietly, What do you want to eat for lunch today, so I can order it? Li Chuhan anxiously turned to look at Lin Yi. I have something to do this afternoon, so I won't be able to eat in the cafeteria. Li Chuhan ran her fingers through her hair, seriously walking past Lin Yi. All right, you go ahead. I'll just order for myself. Lin Yi happily watched Li Chuhan walk away. At noon, Lin Yi arrived at the company. He Yuan and a boy wearing glasses were waiting there. "Hey, Lin." Lin Yi sat down in a chair. "What's the situation over at DD?" He Yuan brought a cup of water to Lin Yi. "Over there, it's just a lifeless shell. The data center has completely transferred over to us. However, it involves a lot of personnel adjustments, and it will take at least a week to get everything basically sorted out before we can make any final decisions." Lin Yi held a cup of water and said seriously, "All right, let's continue doing that. Wait for me to finish the Cisco project at Nation TH before we start implementing related operations." He Yuan, holding a stack of documents, looked at Lin Yi earnestly. "Our 3 billion order has been reached previously, and Cisco has notified us that they are almost done. It seems that they will need about another week to deliver." Lin Yi arranged the documents on the table and looked at He Yuan. "Great, then my side's plan should be put on the agenda as well." He Yuan looked at Lin Yi. "Boss, regarding the fund, would you like to hear about it?" Lin Yi took the document from her hand and replied, "Sure, go ahead. I have some free time." Lin Yi opened the document and listened as He Yuan spoke. "We have helped a total of 174 orphanages across the country. However, I feel that merely helping orphanages isn't very effective. Therefore, I want to invest in some impoverished counties that are key areas in the country. Specifically, building a few primary schools or doing something more practical." Lin Yi thoughtfully stroked his chin while looking at the document. "This also works, after all. It doesn't cost much. Do we have specific targets yet?" He Yuan stepped forward and pointed to Lin Yi. "Take a look at this. Right now we have 2 options, Beiqiao Town and Furong Town." She continued, "The educational resources are very scarce. It's very suitable for pilot implementation." Lin Yi looked at the document, astonished. He thought to himself, "Beiqiao Town, isn't that the hometown of Li Chuhan?" He Yuan suddenly looked at Lin Yi. "Mr. Lin, do you know about Beiqiao Town? A year there is not worth a single massage you pay for." This remark startled Lin Yi a bit. He handed the document back to He Yuan. "Well, let's decide like this. The first environmental hope point will be set in Beiqiao Town." He Yuan looked at Lin Yi with some displeasure. "But the road conditions to this school are not good. Beyond 30 kilometers, it is a muddy dirt road. Even if we offer high salaries, it will be difficult to recruit teachers to go there and teach." Lin Yi sighed and looked at He Yuan. "A road just over 30 kilometers can block so many children's dreams. If we're going to do this, we have to go all the way. Make sure to meet your sister and start on the project plan. Calculate how much it would cost to build a road and a bridge." He Yuan looked at Lin Yi in astonishment. "No way! Are you actually planning to repair the road and build a bridge?" He Yuan looked seriously at Lin Yi. "Even though it's just a few dozen kilometers, the costs will be no less than 10 million yuan. She said, "It's even more expensive than building a hope school." The bespectacled teenager still stood there in silence. Lin Yi seriously and happily looked at He Yuan. "We can just spend a little money. I've already contacted the school, so everything is going smoothly." He Yuan raised a thumbs up, looking at Lin Yi with joy. "Boss, when you don't speak, it's fine. But once you do, you really astonish everyone." He Yuan happily turned and said, "Well, I'm off then." The bespectacled teenager remained standing quietly beside Lin Yi without saying anything. At Nation TH Normal University, Lin Yi knocked on Zhao Yi's office door. The principal called Lin Yi in. Zhao Yi was surprised and pleased to see Lin Yi. "Principal Lin, I was just about to call you. This afternoon, the school is hosting a welcome party, and it would be great if you could join us." Zhao Yi brewed tea and placed a cup of hot water on the table. Lin Yi sat down in a chair and happily looked at Zhao Yi, who was sitting across from him. "I can't participate today. I'm here for a matter I need your help with. I want to build a hope school in Beiqiao Town, but I've encountered some difficulties with the teacher team. I can meet the salary conditions just like in the urban areas." Zhao Yi picked up a cup of hot water, happily looked at Lin Yi. "It's not really a big problem." Finding an internship is becoming increasingly difficult now. The tough conditions are okay. Principal Lin can provide them a place to intern. That's already an honor for them. Lin Yi stood up, happily looked at Zhao Yi. All right then, we will discuss the specifics later. I must take my leave now. Zhao Yi stood up, looked at Lin Yi. Okay. It was already late afternoon outside. In front of Nation TH Normal University, Liang Ruoshu was standing and listening to a phone call, looking out at the busy street. Lin Yi walked out and was surprised to see Liang Ruoshu. Lin Yi thought, "Isn't that Liang Ruoshu? Why is she here?" Lin Yi smirked and gently walked up from behind. Liang Ruoshu intended to cover Lin Yi's eyes from behind, but Lin Yi dodged and was startled. Liang Ruoshu gently bent down, pulled out a gun, and pressed it against Lin Yi's side, her face full of murderous intent. Lin Yi was scared stiff, thinking, "Damn it." Liang Ruoshu put the gun away, looked at Lin Yi in astonishment. "Why is it you?" Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief, looked at Liang Ruoshu. "You scared me to death. Why do you carry that thing with you?" Liang Ruoshu hurriedly hid the gun, looking at Lin Yi. "Who said you were planning to ambush me? I carried this just for self-defense. Why are you here? Could it be that you have an eye for some college beauty from the normal university?" Lin Yi smugly replied to Liang Ruoshu. "That's right. The campus belle of this normal university has already been taken by me as my personal secretary." Liang Ruoshu expressed her disgust towards Lin Yi. Lin Yi happily looked at Liang Ruoshu. "What about you? Why are you here? I actually have something to discuss with you." Liang Ruoshu cheerfully answered, "I have to go to a welcome party, so I don't have much time." Liang Ruoshu looked at Lin Yi, cheerfully saying, "Why don't you come along with me? It's pretty boring to go alone." Lin Yi started to walk, joyfully looking at Liang Ruoshu. All right, Lin Yi and Liang Ruoshu are happily heading to the auditorium of Nation TH Normal University. Zhao Yi saw Lin Yi return and cheerfully said, "Principal Lin, why are you here?" Liang Ruoshu, standing next to Lin Yi, was also unexpectedly amazed. Liang Ruoshu curiously turned to Lin Yi. "You are the principal of this normal university?" Lin Yi raised his hand, looking seriously at Liang Ruoshu. "I'm just an honorary principal. Don't look at me with such admiration. It's because I donated some equipment that I became a principal." Liang Ruoshu looked at Lin Yi, worried and amazed. How many identities does this man have that I still don't know about? In the hall, the MC announced, "We will officially begin now." Lin Yi and Liang Ruoshu sat in the front row, clapping and smiling together. She turned to Lin Yi and said, "Didn't you say you had something to tell me? Go ahead and say it now." Lin Yi leaned closer to Liang Ruoshu, whispered, "There is a poor town named Beiqiao Town. He wants to build a hope school there. It might also fix the road there. He asked if you could contact the locals there." She was taken aback, surprised, asking Lin Yi, "You want to build a school?" She touched her chin, pondering, and said, "I just arrived in Nation TH. I have been in Yanjing all this time, not familiar with people in Yangcheng, but let me try to help you make contact." Hearing that, Lin Yi smiled contentedly and said, "Thank you." Then, as Lin Yi focused on watching the program, Liang Ruoshu propped her chin on her hand, gazing at him intently. She looked at him with an extremely attentive and alluring gaze, making Lin Yi feel a bit flustered. He said, "Don't look at me anymore. Just watch the performance." She propped her chin on her hand, her gaze infatuated, saying, "If you can perform a piece that satisfies me, I will immediately help you with the financial issue." Lin Yi rested his chin on his hand, feeling disheartened, replied, "You're trying to make me lose face, aren't you?" In the meantime, she wore a bright smile, intertwining her fingers. She said, "You want stable finances for a locality, but you don't want to give anything in return for it. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world." Lin Yi nodded and agreed. "All right, I will perform." He smiled faintly, and then Lung Nyuk-hung was surprised to see him suddenly stand up. The host introduced, "Mr. Lin, come up here. What would you like to perform?" She continued, to expand the knowledge for the new students and the graduating students. Liang Ruoshu continued to widen her eyes in surprise. Lin Yi walked straight to the piano saying, "I'll sing a song for fun." Then his hands gently glided over the piano keys, creating a melodious tune. He sang clearly while playing, his voice blending rhythmically with the music. The entire auditorium applauded, and everyone expressed their admiration for him, including Liang Ruoshu. She was surprised and walked to greet him, saying, "How many secrets do you still have that I don't know? I will definitely help you handle that financial stability matter." Lin Yi smiled happily. He winked at Liang Ruoshu and said, "Thank you, beautiful girl. Other than repaying you with my body once again, I truly can't think of any other way to repay you." Hearing that, she turned red in embarrassment. She shyly waved her hand and said, "Go away, and you, stop smiling wickedly." He waved his hand as he walked out of the hall, saying, "You continue watching. I'm leaving now. We can talk about the body repayment next time." At the skyscraper under the blazing sun, Shen Tianzhuo, in a research suit, laughed joyfully and said, "Xiao Yi, come here." He cheerfully responded, "Boss Shen, how's the progress now?" He placed the water glass on the table and said, "There will soon be a breakthrough, just the 17mm process." He continued, "But it's still far from the highest-end chips, and the main issue lies in the light source." Lin Yi rubbed his chin in thought. If they do it themselves, how much money and time will it take? Shen Tianzhuo replied, "Countless money, at least 3 years of time." He sighed with worry, holding a glass of water as he said, "But if we do it this way, there will be no profit. Even if they research a 4nm light source, people will research a 3nm one, so the gap will always exist." Lin Yi nodded in agreement. He said, "If I remember correctly, Satsuma is the world's leading optical manufacturer, right? I will think of a solution." Lu Ying and Sun Fuyu entered the room. She asked, "Boss, did you contact them?" Lin Yi calmly said, "Their 1.0 chip technology is about to be announced. Their technology has been stolen by Cisco, with more than 20 patented inventions registered. I guess it might be announced in the morning, and by the afternoon, they will receive a summons from the court." Both Lu Ying and Sun Fuyu were stunned by this announcement. Lu Ying worriedly asked, "Then why do they have to announce 1.0 when they have already fully prepared for 2.0? Lin Yi confidently replied, "Actually, my main purpose is to create a smokescreen so that the people from Cisco and Nation TH don't know too much. Otherwise, what fun would it be once it is announced?" One morning at the Metroang Industrial Park, 2 cars were driving on the road. Liu Yinxi smiled and said, "Hello, Brother Lin." Lin Yi saw him and replied, "You look pretty good, huh? Wearing a suit makes a difference." Hearing Lin Yi's words, Liu Yinxi shyly scratched his head and responded, "Brother Lin, please don't tease me." He joyfully announced, "I heard from Brother Qin that Lin Yi is looking for you about something. Whatever it is, just say a word." At this moment, Lin Yi approached him closely and covered his hand, leaning in to whisper into Liu Yinxi's ear. He said, "Liu Yinxi, here's what I mean." Upon hearing Lin Yi, Liu Yinxi was startled. He worriedly said, "Brother Lin, are you really going to play it that far?" Lin Yi confidently reassured him, "Don't worry." Lin Yi waved his hand and left, saying, "Just follow what he instructed." At this time, in a room that was tightly shut, Zhang Dingchun was focused on working on the computer. Lin Yi opened the door and knocked on it with his hand. Dingchun happily called out, "Brother Lin!" He smiled and asked her, "How's the factory doing these days?" She quickly ran over to him and said, "There aren't any major issues, but Metroang is no longer theirs now." Hearing the report, he was startled and asked why. Dingchun only turned her face away. She came in, closed the door, and said, "The workshop and the warehouse have all been controlled by Cisco's people. I wanted to check the fire safety issues, but was stopped outside." As she spoke, she locked the door. Then, with a coquettish expression, she said, "Lin, why don't you arrange for me to work somewhere else?" Lin Yi sat down on the sofa. Ding Chun continued, I feel like I haven't done anything but still earn a salary, so I feel a bit guilty. She waved her hands dismissively and said, Don't worry about it. He continued, The business dealings between Metroang and Cisco will be ending soon. By then, you won't need to be here anymore. Ding Chun, both worried and curious, asked, Lin, I haven't accomplished anything yet, and I've already received my salary. I feel quite guilty inside. Then she pulled down her collar to reveal her beautiful, ample breasts. She shyly called him Lin. Afterwards, she unexpectedly left Lin Yi extremely astonished. After that, Lin Yi, from a passive position, pushed her down onto the sofa. He cheerfully said, If you are so determined to repay your debt quickly, then let's go with your wishes. Ding Chun, feeling embarrassed, buried her face into the sofa, hoping to come in contact with Lin Yi's lower body. He grasped her small waist. The ringing of the bells continued to crash into each other, each beat steady. Ding Chun shouted out in embarrassment. At that moment, there was loud knocking at the door. Seeing this, Ding Chun nervously and shyly called out to Lin. The sound of the ringing continued to beat steadily in rhythm. Meanwhile, Ding Chun was panting, her body drenched in sweat. An hour later, the room door was opened. Lin Yi greeted, Isn't that you, Brother Cao? Have you come to see me? Brother Cao, along with his companion, bashfully said to Lin Yi, Brother Lin, you really went all out. I heard your secretary's voice from outside for a whole hour. Lin Yi still spoke nonchalantly. I was just visiting my employee. Ding Chun shyly cowered behind. Brother Cao angrily said, I came just to ask if you mistakenly hired a tall guy to collect fees guarding the restroom entrance. To think you would engage in such activities too, that's really too embarrassing. Lin Yi scratched his head and said, Is Brother Cao talking about that? You've lost several 100,000 yuan again, and now you don't have money in your pocket, making Brother Cao even more surprised. Brother Cao angrily pointed straight at Ding Chun and said, If you want to have money, I can understand that, but you can't use that method. Does that mean Secretary Zhang has to pay money even when she goes to the restroom? Lin Yi, gritting his teeth in anger, pointed directly at Brother Chao's face and said, She is an exception. Then he continued, Just like when you delegate the workshop and warehouse to Brother Chao, Secretary Zhang also doesn't have the authority to inspect fire safety issues, right? Brother Chao was taken aback. He thought, So that's why he wants to stand up for this secretary. Brother Chao then laughed and said, Isn't it that she wants to go to the warehouse to take a look? I'll take Lin Yi there for inspection right now, and it will also conveniently show them how to end their shifts. On a clear, sunny morning with fresh air, Lin Yi wrapped his arm around Wang Ran's waist and stepped towards the warehouse for inspection. Brother Chao and Secretary Jie Meng followed behind. She spoke up and asked Brother Cao, That guy is just a scumbag. Why do you have to pay attention to him? He was pleased and snorted with laughter, responding, I have come across many people like him. He has no ability but places great importance on his reputation. He must feel he's going to lose face in front of his secretary, which is why he would do something like this. Jie Meng, upon hearing this, flattered him with a smile. You're still more impressive, Mr. Cao. Just a glance, and you can tell what kind of person he is. At warehouse number 9, some employees were already waiting to welcome Lin Yi. When they saw him arrive, the employees all shouted in unison, Hello, Mr. Lin! Welcome, Mr. Lin, to the inspection. After such a warm greeting, Lin Yi couldn't help but laugh heartily and said, You all have worked hard. The employees joyfully replied, It's you who have worked hard, leader. Mr. Cao, standing behind, was left speechless at this scene and thought to himself, Truly shallow. Then Liu Yinxi stepped out to greet Lin Yi. You've arrived. Lin Yi replied, Follow me. He could only respond with a yes. They all went inside to conduct the inspection. While walking, Lin Yi mocked Mr. Cao. Your Cisco is quite impressive. Before he could understand what was happening, Lin Yi continued. It hasn't been long, yet you filled all 4 warehouses. These boxes of goods are being shipped out, aren't they? You must be making a fortune. Mr. Cao was said to have hit the nail on the head only managing a wry smile while offering the excuse. It's just small business compared to Brother Lin. I still fall far short. Lin Yi laughed and said, just by looking at him, it's clear that Brother Chow here is the one who does big things. You can tell he's well educated, not bad at all. Mr. Cow felt a bit helpless, thinking, his skin really is thick. I'm not talking to him anymore. Lin Yi turned to talk to Liu Yinxi. Xiao Liu, you finished the inspection. Go back to continue with your work. Don't follow me around anymore. After he finished speaking, Liu Yinxi smiled brightly and replied, got it, Brother Lin. I'm going back to work now. Upon hearing this, Mr. Cow, with a displeased expression, shouted loudly, hey, wait a minute, what do you guys plan to do? Liu Yinxi, hearing him shout, also gradually grew displeased. I've finished the inspection, I need to go back to take my shift at the toilet fee collection. Mr. Cow frowned and looked at him, then yelled louder, are you still charging fees, Mr. Lin? What do you mean by this? Lin Yi and Mr. Liu cooperated, crying and pretending to be pitiful. I don't want to either. He's a distant relative, and his family conditions aren't very good. I can only arrange for him to work here. If there were other options, I wouldn't do it this way. Having said that, Lin Yi turned around and left. He waved his hand and said, let's go. Come with me. Let's see what the dining hall is like. Mr. Cow was startled. Then he panicked, reached out to stop him, and shouted, Mr. Lin, why are you going to the dining hall?